So our topic was fandom frenzy, and we're going to talk about how in Gen Z culture, much of us join fandoms or have interests that we just obsess over to go to have some sort of escapism over our stressful lives. Part of the Gen Z culture is the revenge bedtime procrastination, which is a phenomenon in which people who don't have much control over their daytime life refuse to sleep early in order to regain some sort of freedom during late nighttime hours. This was originally in a tweet that was posted by Daphne K. Lee, and we will be putting that on screen later. So, the procrastinating on sleep isn't just applicable to our generation. Like dads watch football and waste their times over movies too, and mothers waste their times in the evenings watching soap operas. It's not just a phenomenon that Gen Z has created for the lack of sleep. It's because of technology and the increasing amount of light and screens in our lives that are making us less and less able to sleep. For instance, I know many students at our school even go to bed at 3 a.m. Not because they want to, it's because like our lives are becoming less and less manageable as more and more work is piled up on us. So our generation generally has a term for our obsessions now. We don't say, oh, we like sports, or oh, we like this show. It's more of a fandom nowadays. Everything is a fandom. If you like anime, you have to be part of the specific fandom, a name, you have to be part of the Haikyuu fandom, or I'm not that much into anime, but I don't know if they call them fandoms, but a lot of stuff on Twitter, like K-pop, is so generalized to be called a fandom. I know there's a YouTuber fandom now with Corpse and the Dream SMP fandom, and a lot of us I think started that off with the culture of reading YA novels. I don't know about any of you guys in the discussion, but I remember when I was 8 or 10, people would be obsessing over the Hunger Games, which isn't even a good series, by the way. And they call themselves in a certain fan culture. And this terminology, there's a lot of terminology involved, but there's certain degrees of being a quote unquote, fan of something. For instance, there are casual fans, someone who occasionally follows what's trending on Twitter or a meme. For instance, the Resident Evil vampire lady simps. I don't know if there's anyone in this discussion who's part of it, but they're not actually fans of the series. I personally only watched one playthrough of Resident Evil 7, but people who generally just like tall 8-foot ladies. You don't have to generally be a fan to enjoy something that an artist creates. Everyone knows BTS's DNA, but no one actually knows. Some people don't even know their names. And for me personally, I know this one character from Attack on Titan named Eren. Apparently he caused some genocide or something in the show, but I don't care. He looks nice, and I wanted to simp for him. Well, of course, there's also the new and sometimes toxic fans who are misinformed and very eager to have more information. They make a lot of generalizations about celebrities. Irene is going to go into this later, but sometimes they do tend to want to know more about a artist who doesn't want to share that much. And then there's veteran and normal fans who are pretty chill and often feel uncomfortable expressing their interests because there's a small yet very loud minority, and they know more than these new fans, but they aren't arrogant about it. And most of the times they're multi stands, or they're not super hyper focused on one thing. For me personally, I'm gonna discuss all this stuff with BTS. I know a lot of you in the discussion today don't like them. Forgive me for it, but so I'm just gonna explain who they are quickly. They're seven 20-year-old men, 20-something-year-old men. They can sing, rap, dance, feel my heart, etc. Lyrical geniuses. They're skincare experts, and they will sell their bandmates for free stuff. But the thing about BTS that like captures a lot of people's attention and often like generates fans is because they're constantly putting out content. In the year 2020 alone, they had 4 albums, 24 music videos, 37 variety show episodes, daily videos on their YouTube channel, an 8-part nature documentary, 30 plus like music performances, 3 online concerts, 2 documentaries, and 51 live streams. And I can go further, but there's a spreadsheet on Google if you can just search it up. But they also do a lot of charity work, which often goes unknown because their fans are super toxic and annoying. Not the majority. I'm saying, yeah, it's a stupid, silent, small but loud minority. Now Irene will go into her discussion with Mr.
Husband. Okay, I hated that. I'm never gonna say that again. So we have Corpse. All right, he recently got pretty big. He blew up. I would want to say a little like September, maybe October. Not 100% sure, but just some things about him. He is number one, a bad bitch. He is a Bingus stan. This is all a joke, okay? Low key. But I would like to say some important things about him.
Bingus.
Well, we love Bingus. He is a Bingus stan. Okay. He is the physical version of slowed and reverb, I must say. And just, I guess, a meme of sorts. He, quote unquote, invented breathing. I don't really want to get into that, but we can if we want. So, just on a serious note, though, he does a lot of discussion about like who he is, like what he's been through, and such in a live stream from, I want to say, 2017, where he talks a lot about the health issues that he deals with. One being GERD, which is an acid reflux issue. He also deals with severe anxiety and some other tragic things in his past. If you're interested, I'll provide a link of the live stream. He also goes into a lot of these, he expresses himself, I suppose you could say, through his music. We have Agoraphobic. It's a great song. We have White Tea, Miss You, Never Satisfied. One of my favorites, I must say. And then obviously his classic E-Girls Are Ruining My Life, as well as Cat Girls Are Ruining My Life. And that's pretty much, we'll say Corpse in a nutshell, but he's recently also blew up from his Among Us streams. Before that, he used to do a lot of horror narration, which I unknowingly used to be obsessed with. So yeah, now we're gonna get into some issues, whether it's privacy, pressure, etc.
Yeah, as Irene said, there's like 3 parts of issues that celebrities do deal with. A lot of people in our age they tend to fixate on things, whether it be something that they're really interested in or some problem that we're dealing with. It's sometimes we tend to fixate on stuff, and a lot of young fans especially, or weird, manipulated, psychologically disturbed people often harass or go to extreme extents to meet or see their idols. I'm gonna talk about BTS because that's the one I know most about, but they, as much as they are famous, they also have a lot of security issues. I know for one instance there was a hotel room invasion during one of the members' birthday, and there was Koreans call it sasang behavior. Sasangs are fans who go to extreme extents that are often harmful of themselves or harmful of other people to like meet an idol. They broke into their hotel room, jumped on their beds, stole underwear, and like even lively broadcast it on their Instagram stories. And the management tried to hide it up, saying it was staff, but the stalker herself came out and posted videos about it. And it's so messed up because as you know, I would think that, you know, if you're the world's biggest boy band, you would have tighter security, but it's so messed up. And also, there's this girl whose name is Sasang with no pants. I would encourage you to watch the video of her getting pushed off, but she basically, I don't know what's wrong with her, but it seemed like she wasn't wearing pants in a video where she tried to follow BTS coming out of the airport. And one of the comments under a video about this said that she has a Chanel bag but can't pay for pants. So a lot of I think a lot of this behavior gets sort of undermined by the jokes that people make about it, but these are serious issues. Some one time this
Uh-oh. Oop. Okay. Shveta, are you back?
Shveta,
hello?
Hi,
hello.
girl.
And can I continue? Or
Yeah, you broke off around like the introduction of the next part after the girl with the bag and
the girl with the bag. Oh, Chanel
stuff.
bag.
The Chanel bag girl.
She wasn't no,
Pants girl.
don't call her that. Her name is No Pants Girl.
No pants girl.
Yes. Okay. So another person also got pushed into a trash can by a bodyguard. It was pretty funny, but at the same time, I don't think that it's good for Twitter's stance to be undermining the issue, which has other implications of security. And I would also like to point out that BTS themselves and their management has posted countless restraining order lists. Some of them are very graphic and gory. I wouldn't want to go into it because it might require a trigger warning, but I will go into some of the stuff that isn't as graphic. But a lot of these Sasang fans join telecommunication companies to get BTS's personal numbers, and they start stalking the members' fans. Some of the airplane companies also sell their ticket information, so fans know when they're going on which airplane, and often bombard the airline with tickets to the same flight following the members. It's so weird, and oftentimes it does take the stalker part of the stan word way too seriously, and I honestly don't like the word stan at this point because it's messed up how a small yet very toxic part of a large fandom who does many good charity stuff. Like it's so terrible that those are the people who are getting the spotlight in such a good and well diverse community. Anyway, Irene.
Alrighty. So, before I get into the specifics with the privacy and all the assumptions, I suppose, with this corpse fandom, just a couple examples of the whole privacy stalking thing that I recall from an example being the Dolan Twin fandom. I used to follow them, and there were a lot of stories. I'm only gonna briefly mention like two. One being they actually opened up about this, I believe, on another person's video. But one morning, I think they had their sister over at their house, and they just woke up and there was a person standing in their kitchen. They didn't know who this person was. They were just there. So they had to increase security. I believe that's part of the reason they had to move. I'm not 100% sure, but it probably was. And another instance was, I believe, kind of similar to with Shveta and BTS, but at one point they were at like a beach a few years ago, and one of the fans just like stole their shirt, which okay, like weird flex, I suppose. I don't know. It makes me uncomfortable. Anywho, with Corpse, he used to have a PO box. Well, he still has a PO box where he would let his fans at the time send like letters or gifts or whatever to him. And recently, I think in a stream, maybe it was a couple weeks ago, someone asked him if they can still send him stuff, and he said that he couldn't go and pick his mail up anymore because a lot of people started, like, I guess camping out, if you will, at his PO box and waiting for him to show up. So he had to ask someone else that he trusts to wait down there for his mail. So that's gross. And the thing with assumptions, there was a thread of comments on this one video. Just I believe it was maybe just a compilation of just corpse things, and there was a comment thread where they basically said that they think a half of Corpse's fans are really toxic because their only purpose of being in the fandom is trying to find out like what he physically looks like, his face, waiting for his face reveal, stuff like that, pressuring him to show his face. And the thread was quite interesting, and a lot of them agreed with this person. And while I was reading this thread, I found someone commented that he probably sent, this is quoted by the way, he probably sent weird shit to a 14-year-old and playing it safe. Okay. I know a lot of people think that, like, in reference to our last episode, it does seem like there are a lot of YouTubers or just people in the spotlight who seem to be coming out and being exposed for pedophilia, things like that. Not every YouTuber is one. And also it's really just disgusting to assume that about someone who actually has been really open about his personal life, more open than I would personally be comfortable with when it comes to just my life. And I think that's something I really admire about him. So I did respond to it because it just pissed me off. I just said there's a difference between hiding from legal and having the type of anxiety that you need to deal with every day. So there's that. Shveta, do you want to take TikTok or no? Because I'm fine with talking about the White House.
Oh, you can talk about the White House. I can talk
All
about
right.
the Corona stuff.
Cool. All right, so this we're moving into TikTokers and just influencers being very not smart. We'll say it that way. Specifically, we have Exhibit A, the White House, also known as the Hype House, but I'm going to be referring to it as the White House because in this picture that I'll be putting in, you can see that there's something very common about them. They all look the same, and they're white. Okay, great. So, just the thing with TikTokers, which this might end up being a rant, but I'll try not to make it that. They have so much influence, and I don't want to call them influencers because there tends to be I suppose, quote unquote, positive sort of association with influencers, or there should be anyway. I know last during our presentation, I talked about how Corpse deals with anxiety and really fun things like that. And I didn't really talk much more about that, which I felt weird about afterwards. So I'm going to talk about it. We have, there's the whole thing of fans, like I mentioned briefly, waiting, just sticking around just for a face reveal. And that's one thing that I failed to mention, creates this sort of pressure and, contributes to his anxiety. I think he did mention this before. Part of the reason why he hasn't done a face reveal is just because he's just doesn't like the way he looks, and he's also just afraid that his fans are gonna leave him because of that, which, like, I heard a lot of people on Twitter are like, don't worry about it or whatever, but it's also like just up to him at the end of the day. Another thing that I kind of wanted to mention, he talks a lot about this this sort of his personal or his thoughts about the whole anxiety thing. God, I'm like so bad today. And also just the idea of just not wanting to do a face reveal in a lot of his music. One being his song called Agoraphobic, as well as which song was this? Well, no, that was also Agoraphobic. Also, I think Miss You. I'm pretty sure that was another song where he kind of mentions it. Anyway, aside from that, since then there were actually a lot of issues that I was unaware of that happened. So on Twitter last week, I actually didn't know this, but someone made a video about it, and I saw the video and I was like, I missed this somehow. Basically, there was a Twitter trend or hashtag going around that just like titled something along the lines of like corpse accusations or whatever. And at first, from what I know, the fans were taking it as like a kind of just like a joke thing. Like, I know one of the tweets that I saw under the hashtag was like, one time like corpse stole my Cheez-Its or something. Like it was obviously a joke. But then a lot of people started taking advantage of it, I think, and they began having like accusations of him tweeting racist things, which is so fun. And those tweets were obviously fake. They were made and they were proven to be fake. I think someone even recorded themselves saying a racial slur and passed it off as it being corpse, which is all kinds of excuse my French, fucked up. There were also other tweets that people fabricated, or just other things that they said about corpse being talking to underage girls. And yeah, that's all I wanted to. That was just an update. That's all I wanted to talk about. So now we can go into our discussion that we totally didn't lose last time.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
So like I can actually kind of relate this. So one of the fandoms I'm in is called for the book series Percy Jackson, and a lot of artists have actually been leaving the fandom because a lot of the fans are becoming really toxic and hateful towards the artists because they don't represent the characters right or something like that. And I've seen at least a dozen artists just stop drawing Percy Jackson fan art altogether just because the people heckle them and like harass them. And I think somebody even got DDoSed because of it. And that's just like if you're gonna be a part of a fandom, why be like that? Like it's all fiction. Like it doesn't matter what the interpretations of it are, right? Right?
Something relating to like the face reveal, because the video that I was watching today, there's like a YouTuber, he's like a commentary YouTuber, and he does a lot of stuff on like Twitter drama, and specifically like the Minecraft YouTuber like verse, the Minecraft YouTuber cinematic universe, like all of the people on there and stuff like that. And he was like, a lot of people are like fake leaking Dream's face, and here's why that's a terrible thing that you should never do. And a lot of people he brought up like people like Charlie D'Amelio, like she'll never have a normal life again. Like it doesn't matter what she ends up going on to do if she keeps up with TikTok or not. Like she'll always be recognized in public, and people will always want to take pictures with her. But faceless YouTubers, especially big ones right now, like I don't know if 5UP's done a face reveal, but like Corpse and like in Dream, they're kind of living like that. I know Corpse says that he doesn't go out a lot, but they're kind of living that like Hannah Montana lifestyle where they can go to the store, they can go to their local Giant and buy their groceries and like not have any troubles with like being recognized in the streets or asked for like pictures or what have you. And then they can hop on like their like computer and open up YouTube or Twitch or whatever they stream on and be millionaires. And that's pretty cool. And like, why would anyone want to give up that life? But a lot of people are trying to leak their like they're trying to dox them and stuff like that just because they don't like the content that they're making, which is whack. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that reminds me, there were a couple things that I forgot to mention, despite me forgetting to mention them earlier anyway. I think, well, I don't remember when it was, but it was sometime this past week. Corpse did like just a Q&A on his Instagram story, and someone was asking about the whole face reveal thing. And he talked about, he basically just said that it's gonna happen and it's not gonna be at his will, which obviously I can't, relate to, but that feeling must be so just, I don't know how to explain it. It must be so terrifying to just, especially because I know, he said it himself in another thing where people were asking about his song lyrics, where he was just talking about how, like he never went out much to begin with because of his anxiety and such, but like now it's just he's even more paranoid about it because of the whole face reveal thing. He said someone, I think, recognized his voice in public, like through a drive-through or something, and he lost his shit. He got so scared. So, oh, and there was another time, where it was during a live stream. His Among Us like crashed or something, and he saw his reflection in his monitor, and he freaked out because he thought that the people, like his fans and his audience, could see it. It's just, I feel really bad for people. Also, I think other people were also like trying to reveal his face, just like saying, this is Corpse right here, this is his face, and he's just like, no, this is awkward. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Shveta, by the way, you just joined. We're just discussing, obviously.
Yeah, I feel really bad for like people who feel obligated to do things for fans, like, or people who like content creators who are like scared now because they have like a community of people who obsess over them. It just sucks. Like it must like impact them, like their mental health terribly, like every day. Even if like you're trying to stay away from things. Like I know that a lot of like content creators have now like deleted Twitter and stuff just because they're constantly being bombarded with people with their faces as their profile pictures. Yikes. And all of that stuff. I say as I have a YouTuber as my profile picture right now. Sucks to be me. Anyways, like it just, I can't imagine like starting a YouTube channel or a Twitch account or whatever, and then suddenly having like millions of people who follow you. Imagine.
All right, yeah, unless what else did we cover last time? Do we want to dive into, well, we kind of mentioned it already, but we can talk about the positives and negatives of being in a fandom. I know we kind of touched on that in our presentation. So if anyone has any comments on that, go ahead.
So I just want to like say, I don't know if this falls under like that, but like I'm talking more about like, it's like creators are something, they're entertainment. If you don't like their content, then don't watch it. There's no reason to go out of your way to like target a person and be like, Like I genuinely dislike most TikTokers. Oh, so I don't have the TikTok app. I don't watch them, and I don't go out of my way to like harm them in any way because they're people too. Some people do like them. It just makes me. I don't understand why people feel like they have to destroy someone else's life simply because they don't like them. When it's just as easy to avoid them, you know?
Yeah, I would agree. I think wasn't there something going on Twitter just because I don't want to say it's because Corpse got the billboard because I don't really know if that's why, but like I saw a lot of people were just like his music isn't even that great, like everyone, and I quote this tweet, someone literally goes like all his the reason why he has so many fans is because of his voice, and like all the people who like watch his videos come immediately when they hear his voice, and I was like, okay, geez.
I liked that tweet before you sent a screenshot of it.
It was funny
why
though.
I liked it. I just thought it was really funny worded, so I was like, haha, made me giggle. But yeah, people take things way too seriously. Like I would have preferred for Schlatt to get the billboard mainly because he's not like a smaller content creator, because he still has like millions of people following him, but he's
less known.
It's a meme. It's a meme. Like I want to see a meme put up in Times Square, and not someone self-advertising. Love Corpse and everything, but it would be funny.
Yeah, I honestly wanted Schlatt because I thought it would be really funny. Because all the people who are older and don't know who he is would just be like, what? Why? It would also make the homophobic people really mad, and that makes me happy.
Indeed. Who doesn't want to see "I am gay" plastered up or "I like men" plastered up in Times Square?
I would love that. I didn't really care. Like it's great.
Yeah, honestly, like I jokingly ribbed Irene earlier, like, oh, you're like, I don't care. Like whoever wins, I don't really care. Like,
I mean, to be honest, I think the whole thing is that I'm just like, as a fan, I'm just proud that he got 100 million streams on one of his songs. And he mentioned that it was like a big deal for him to just release the song because he's been working in music for like longer than he's shown everyone. So, that's about it. But like, it was just a liking tweet thing. Like, relax, Anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What were we gonna? I forgot.
I think it was. Oh, that thing that I sent in like the Instagram chat the other day?
Which
feel
one?
like that's the thing about like the thread and then people doing quote retweets and sending death threats.
Jesus, okay.
Like it was related to Irene, you liked the thing, but it's relating to like how people like hate content creators and stuff like that. Like this reminded me of it because it's about Schlatt, the guy who did the tweet. But he like a lot of he's not problematic. I guess he is kind of problematic, but not in like the sense where it's like, oh, he's a Nazi.
Schlatt kind of just, his name's Jay Schlatt on YouTube. He says things that could be considered offensive, but he does it in a joking way that's not meant to be offensive.
And people just
it's meant to be poking fun. It's more meant to be poking fun at the people who say that thing seriously.
Yeah, he plays a character. Like he's a caricature of all of those like of like the people like what's his name? The drama guy. He rated Pokimane a 4 out of 10. He's meant to be making fun of like people who are actually like really offensive and stuff like that. But in his past, like he did say some things that could be taken out of context and like used to quote unquote cancel him. And a lot of people on Twitter, because of that, because Twitter is a very sensitive place. If you have opinions and you want to share them, then you can start wars over them on Twitter. And Twitter really doesn't like him, but I think he's funny. So a lot of things from people who are fans of him show up on my Twitter feed. And I found this quote unquote cancellation thread of Schlatt. And it's just a list of things that he did that he should be canceled over, including, I don't know if this can really be added to a school podcast, but the one thing that stood out to me was he slept with your mother, and I quote, he slept with your mother. And so it's obviously making fun of people who actually like make cancellation threads over Schlatt, because the thing is that the guy's been canceled so many times and he bounces right back. It doesn't affect him at all. I don't think he even knows that he's being canceled on Twitter at this point. Like anytime someone starts like a new wave of trying to cancel him, it never works. So and all of the quote retweets, because I checked it because I was like, ooh, this is gonna start some drama, is all these K-pop profile pictures or anime profile pictures saying, wow, in like, you really did this, huh? You thought you were so funny. Someone even said AYS. Just straight up that. Like, you're 14. Like, I did check that person's profile. You're 14. What if someone did, theoretically, what if it did work? What if someone, like, you can't just throw things around like that over because you can't tell people to do that just because someone watches someone that you don't like. Like, you can't, like, cyberbullying is a real issue because like little things can build up. Like someone might watch that streamer because he's like their only source of comfort. I know that a lot of people on like a lot of streamers donations say like, hi, you're a really good source of comfort right now. You're the one thing that can get me to laugh. Like, cyberbullying affects people. And you're telling someone to do something like that just because they watch a streamer that you don't like, it just gets me mad. So I don't like it. And Twitter is a big source of like, I'm spiraling, guys. I'm spiraling. Someone get me off of this right now.
Yeah, no, Twitter. Every time I open that, okay, I need to find a synonym for school appropriateness. Gosh darn app. Every time I open that gosh darn app, it just
Bobby, it's okay.
takes
I
my
literally
self-esteem
said fuck like 2 minutes ago. You're fine.
Fine. Every time I go on that goddamn app, my self-esteem not my self-esteem, but my confidence in humanity and like us as a species drops significantly because of like politics and people like arguing over stupid things when we could be doing so much better and we're not. You know?
Yeah. I mean, if we want to stop talking about Twitter, we kind of
something
did.
that happened just before. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna.
Something
Well, you can finish up. Go ahead.
Something that just happened before we started recording was Donald Trump was acquitted from his second impeachment trial. Obviously, that's a lot of things people don't like, but like people are calling for like a revolution or like more violence, and that's not what we need. You know?
Yeah, well, I mean, I like, not to get into politics, but just my opinion on that. I just think the whole, like, a revolution in some cases is, I don't want to say inevitable, but like I wouldn't be surprised if it happened, especially just the state of our country right now, and where it was.
It's so broken that the only way to fix it would be to break it entirely and start from scratch.
I mean, like, yes and no. I don't think that. Because the way that the Roman, we love how we're transitioning here. The way that the Roman Empire fell is that it fell from the inside. So the government, like, maybe there are certain parts of this government that aren't the worst, and by that I mean like maybe two things. So we don't really need that, but at this point, like, if a revolution were to happen, then obviously we can't do much about it. It'll happen and I won't be surprised about it. That's the thing. But going away from politics real quick, I was just gonna ask about, because we've been talking about like just how content creators have like influence on individuals. We also touched on, and that was in some cases positive, as far as, being kind of like a comfort thing during like dark times. I know I've experienced that. But how about we talk about bad content creators and their influence? So I know we mentioned TikTokers, just spreading COVID. And if anyone, no one in particular wants to talk about Lana Del Rey, we can do that too with her whole mask situation. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on, bad influencers and spreading COVID?
We could talk about Lana Del Rey.
Oh my god, please.
Oh my god, crazy. Okay, so Lana Del Rey has had a bad year. And I'm not sure why. Like I don't know, like what?
I don't follow her, so I don't really know
Like
what she does.
what?
It's okay. Take your time.
What drug has she been on for the past year? Like summertime last year, lockdown, she posted that like typewriter essay. I was like, oh my god. And then she kept posting like more and more after that. And let's just say it's been a very disappointing year. And yeah. But the thing about bad influencers and like COVID stuff. So Lana, right? She had this one photo shoot and she wore this mesh mask. It had like holes all through it. It was not protective at all, or it didn't look protective at all. And she like wore it, and in the magazine it was just like, wear a mask, but don't wear this one. So we were just like, oh, okay, so it was just like a fashion thing for the magazine. And then she wore it out to like a book signing for her new like poetry book. And so yeah, and that was weird. That was really, really weird. She didn't address it for like half of a year. And then finally, like a month ago, I think, she posted on Twitter and was just like, by the way, that mask had like a plastic backing in it, so like it was safe. And it's like that's not the same. Like a plastic backing doesn't like like it doesn't really have the same properties as a normal
Pizzazz.
mask, like it doesn't have the same. I don't think that it would protect the same way that a normal mask does. Also, it didn't really look like it had a protective like plastic backing, but it doesn't really matter. It still looked it still made people think like, oh, she isn't wearing a mask and everything. And I don't know. I don't think that in this instance she inspired anyone to not wear a mask. Like I can't say that in like a general statement because I don't know. But I think that people generally criticized her, and rightfully so, for the information that they had at the time. I don't know if the information that she said later was true or not, but with the information that they had at the time, that she wore a mask that was mesh out in public, they rightfully criticized her. But yeah, there's definitely other better examples of influencers being bad influences on people. Get it? But
Wow.
like all of those like parties that you talked about earlier, and Dua Lipa, like with at the beginning of lockdown, she had that song, she like edited it to be like stay at home or whatever, and then she didn't like the whole time.
Sorry, that's so
Um
and then she didn't.
That is something that always bothers me, is when people say one thing and then act like the rules don't apply to them. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
a lot of people, like, a
I
lot of
think
lawmakers made laws in both like United States and Canada to like, stay at home, and then went on vacations to tropical locations. Like, no. If we gotta follow the rules, so do you.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. I think
And she
the
knew that
whole
it was wrong. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I think the whole thing with the situation with Lana Del Rey is that it wasn't necessary to have a book
Yeah.
signing in a pandemic. Like from
Yeah,
what I
no.
know, the poetry book wasn't even that great. And like that's just a whole
Wasn't
other
it in
thing.
LA too?
Was it
Sorry?
in LA?
Yeah, well, I thought it was in LA.
I think
Like,
I think it was.
Oh
like
yeah, it
Queen
was.
of all the places.
All the places you had to have a book signing. You had it the like worst the place that's like doing so awfully. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, there are definitely sounds funky. Better examples of bad influencers, like, the whole TikTok situation. Um God, there are other things that I just don't like about TikTokers, but like they have such a young audience and they're so impressionable that like just and they're all for the most part I think adults, right? They're like at least 18.
And
So
all of the younger ones, they have like some disease that makes them say the N-word. Like, what are you doing?
yeah, yeah, that's very fun. Oh my god. Now TikTokers are awful. But anyway, having such an
You're
impressionable
just
audience.
realizing this now.
No, but like just like the more because okay, I don't want to talk a lot about TikTokers because there is a bunch of things that are wrong with them. But it's just like my opinions on them, but like we're speaking specifically about them being bad influencers, so I'm trying to like just find the words to talk about how just bad they are at I guess even doing no, I don't wanna call it a job now, like, that's not what I wanna do. Tisha, did you have anything to say? I'm not doing well.
No, you're good. I just wanted to say, like, even like the content that they're creating isn't like, it doesn't make any sense because like on I've had the app for some time and I'm casually like looking at things, and what I've realized is the people who like actually put in effort and like time and like money get less views than people like Charlie who like do a 15-second dance. That's not even hers, it's someone else's. And she gets like millions and millions of views and comments and whatever. And like I don't understand, like why are you getting views if you're not doing anything?
All of those shirtless guys who stare at the camera and make like smolders and like wear chains, like they make me lose faith in humanity. Like there are so many talented people out there who like make art. I for some reason on my For You page I see a lot of people making dresses and stuff. I'm here for that content. But yeah, like they're so underrated compared to like people who do silly little dances. Watch me do my dancey dance.
Yeah, I
It's
see all
not
those
even.
dresses. Sorry, go ahead, Tisha.
No, you can go.
Oh, okay. I see those dresses on TikTok, and I'm like, those are so amazing. Like, how do you learn how to do that? They're so cool. But now that we're talking about this, I know people are gonna say that technically entertainers have like they contribute to society, but the problem with TikTokers is, dare I say it, they don't contribute anything to society. Now, um, this is kind of controversial, but not really. The thing is, they're like, I don't know what they do. Like, what do they do? That's my whole thing, and this is why I wanted to avoid this because
If I may.
Yes, go ahead.
When we think about YouTubers do things like charity live streams. Like I know one of the YouTubers I've been watching for the longest time, Markiplier. His entire merch sales all goes to charity. I have never heard once of a TikToker doing anything for charity.
I mean, I haven't. Yeah, that's one. Yeah, I don't think I have heard any TikTokers.
I mean, to be fair, Bobby doesn't use TikTok that much. A lot of people on my For You page, I think they don't really, there's nothing where they really advertise, but I think like you have the option to like put charities in your bio that like you're supporting, and if you donate on live streams, it'll go to that charity. If I might be completely wrong, but I've seen charities in people's bios that they're supporting, so.
Oh yeah, that's
I
good.
feel that wow,
Go
Irene.
ahead.
Okay.
No.
On the second day of Chinese New Year.
Oh my
Anyways,
god.
so I think that TikTok can be useful because there's like the one thing where in a YouTube video, it's like this whole thing of people like going around and then they have to search for something like this. but information, right? On TikTok, it is much easier for people to spread information out, like whether it's true or false. So there's the good and the bad of that. But I think that there's a lot of opportunities for people to teach about culture and history and like their ethnicity and heritage and that sort of thing. And I find those videos really interesting and really useful. I also really like the cat videos on TikTok. So that's why I use it, is because that's why my For You page is 100% cats. And then like, well, it's like 99% cats and then like 1% um, information, which I think is a very nice For You page to have. But there's definitely a lot of bad stuff on there as
Yeah,
well.
I think that I think the main issue though is that like I would 100% agree. I see a lot of things that are beneficial on TikTok, like spreading information, and I know there was like a trend about just like people showing off their culture, whether it's yeah, well, it's their ethnicity or just you know, obviously part of who they are. I think there was a trend like that or something like a while ago. But I think the issue is that some of those, I guess, creators or yeah, they don't really get as much publicity as, say, like the people in the hype house, or you know what I'm saying? Like, this is gonna sound rude, but I'm gonna say it anyway. The TikTok quote unquote dancers, the ones that we all know about, what they do on TikTok isn't talent. This isn't. I'm not saying that Charlie is a bad dancer by any means. I think there was a clip of her doing her own choreography just like for fun, but like that wasn't on TikTok. And like she's a talented dancer, but just what she does on TikTok, uh, it's no not talent. TikTokers aren't talented.
Also,
Okay,
may I
great.
say, the TikToks I do see, I don't see them on TikTok. I see them on Instagram because I don't have that app. But ones I see, it's always usually like younger women wearing little like very skimpy clothing and like dancing to a song. Like there's no real talent in that. It's more just like showing off your body, you know? And I just don't like that.
And the dance itself is like moving your arms and like maybe your waist. Like anyone can do that. Like you don't have to make a video on that, you know?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like out of it. Okay, what was I gonna say? I don't know. Kate, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, it's like pretty frustrating to see like people blowing up for not doing a whole lot, where like people who genuinely like contribute a lot to society. This is what bothers me the most, is that a TikToker, like your average hype house, content creator house, like $10,000 LA mansion living in TikToker, or not 10,000, 10 million. That's how mansions normally cost. I say as if I know anything about it. But like your average millionaire TikToker makes significantly more than like a teacher would in like 10 years. Why do we live in a world where that happens? Like teachers literally create, like they help shape like the future. They help shape the future. And TikTokers, what do? They make like silly little dances and then sell merch that just says "Love yourself" in a 70s style font. Like what are you doing?
And sell it for $80.
Agree.
Exactly.
I would also like to add in the caveat, like things like science. Like I've always had that problem even before TikTok was a thing. Like entertainers always get paid like millions. Well, people like scientists, teachers, people who like construction workers, architects, people who make the world of tomorrow get paid like nothing. And without them, we would be basically effed over as a society.
Like, I'm also just really annoyed that when people first download the TikTok app, the first thing on your For You page or whatever you call it is just straight TikTok. That's the default. There's no variety on there. And that really pisses me off because that app is promoting that content. It's stupid.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to curate your we're going to curate your feed for you. What are you interested in? Art, anime, like all that stuff that you check off at the beginning. And then what do you see? You see Charlie D'Amelio on your For You page immediately when you scroll. Like you're not curating anything for me. You're just like hand feeding me
Yeah.
like the content creators that you pay to create more content.
You know,
They're at the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I don't need to see them. You know what I do want to see? I want to see fan art of my boy Shoyo Hinata.
you know who I
Sorry.
like have a thing against? Bella Porch. Literally, all she does is use a face tracker and shake her face. That's it. And the only reason she gets anything,
Literally.
Oh my god, that pissed me off so much. How?
Like
What does she do?
I don't understand.
Wait,
Imagine
who? Who are you talking about?
Bella Porch.
She's that girl who did like the it's M to the B, it's M to the B, it's M to the B.
so
And then the face, like the
like,
face tracker thing.
as someone who like
Oh, I see.
as someone who's done play and like actual theater and performing arts, she has such dead eyes. You can tell she literally does not care about what she's doing at all. Like she has such her face, like I don't know how to describe it, but her face is like devoid of all emotion. She's just doing it like a robot. Like she was a robot built by the corporations to generate money, and it's so annoying.
Also, just
Anyway,
She was in
imagine.
the army.
Also, imagine just like she meets someone new, and they're like, "Oh, what do you do?" Like, we're getting to that age, and she's probably I don't know how old she is. We're like, jobs and stuff, and she just shows them like her TikTok. I would be so embarrassed. Anyway,
like honestly, I have no problem with people who actually like who like if you like do the dance with your basic clothes, boo on you. But like if you like get a cosplay on, like if you get like a full suit, like either like a dress or like maybe like if I see people doing it in Mandalorian armor, like that's sick. I would love to do that, and I support that. But just like
Please don't get me started on cosplayers. Oh,
you have positive feelings or negative feelings about them.
I have such negative feelings about them. They don't act like human beings. It just makes me want to throw up every time I see someone like with the animated like hi hand. I feel like the people on TikTok know what I'm talking about with like the animated like you're pulled straight out of a cartoon, but you're a human being. Like those mannerisms, they make me uncomfortable.
yeah,
Mhm.
Like
yeah.
there's this one I
Oh
follow on
no.
Instagram. Like she's not one of the anime ones. She does things like she did Hades from Hercules, and she did a jellyfish or something. And she's like her name's like the Formative Fox on Instagram, and I find it's like as a person who does acting, I find that really cool how she's able to move in such an animated way. But I can understand why you like not like it.
It just looks unnatural. Also, like all of the cosplayers that I'm familiar with are like the My Hero Academia ones, and like don't like that's another thing that I can spiral down. That's such a toxic community. Like, they fetishize trans people, and
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I never really wanted to get into anime because like it's so sexual.
it's a good show. Like the My Hero Academia is a good show. It's just like the community is full of middle schoolers who like they're like gotcha kids, but like even more feral.
I don't know.
Actually, I take that back. They're probably just as bad. I feel like nothing can get worse than gotcha kids.
No, but like I have never seen an anime female anime character who does not have something about her sexualized.
I mean, all women though. I think there was this kind of gets into no, it doesn't actually. But there was like a post on Twitter or something where people were, or maybe it was a TikTok, I don't remember. It was like, girls can't do anything without being made fun of or like being judged for it.
I think Wilbur Soot said that. Okay, do you know?
Okay, well, I don't.
Yeah, he did say that on
I don't think
stream.
that's where I saw it, but like, or heard it, but like, a lot of.
I mean, that's like the most, like he said, that's like the most cold take he's ever had since it's been spread so many times. People say that all the time.
Oh, okay. I was unaware. But yeah. Like I think it's like as far as fashion goes too, I think there was an example of just someone with the quotations just saying, "Oh, I have or I love fashion or something, or I'm really into fashion." And then they had a picture of a girl wearing like I think it was like tiny top baggy pants, which I don't mind. I think it looks good. But anyway, and people were just like, wow, girls just can't do anything without being judged for it. And that sucks, but shall we go back to our what we were talking about earlier? What were we wait.
Fandoms, I think.
Yeah, but I just my mind just bad influencers.
Oh, bad.
I
You
was
know who
gonna
I'm gonna bring up again for like the 5th time? Take a wild guess.
Well, listen, I was gonna
That
talk
vegan
about.
teacher.
I was gonna talk about the whole Jake Paul Cody Co situation from a
yes,
couple
that
years
too.
ago, because just my opinion on it quickly. Jake
Wait,
Paul.
what was the situation?
Oh yeah, I'll yes. Okay, so basically, I'm pretty sure the whole reason this started was because Cody Co did a video on reacting to one of Jake Paul's like either music videos or something like that, and obviously, criticizing him because I don't know what else he would be doing watching a video about Jake Paul. And Jake made like dedicated a whole video to confronting Cody at what is it, Jeff's barbershop or something, like while Cody Co is getting a haircut. And he was basically saying Cody Co is a cyberbully. And
Is this
just
the same one?
Wasn't he a real life bully?
Is
yeah.
he the one who filmed the guy? Is he the one that filmed the guy in the suicide horse, or was that the other?
No, that was his brother.
I know
but-
that one of them.
Logan is just a himbo that makes bad decisions because he's too stupid to realize it. Jake Paul is the one who's just straight up a terrible guy.
Yeah, I know one of
Yeah.
them's like bad, but is like trying to get better. But one of them just sucks and isn't doing anything about it. And like
Yeah,
I can
I know
respect the one that's
Logan-
trying to get better, like that. Like I'll support him if he tries to get better. But if you do sit down around and do nothing to try and improve yourself, like you don't have. I'm not backing you.
Yeah, like Logan Paul, like he's definitely, from what I hear, from what I just see, he's definitely gotten much better. I know he has a podcast now. He's had one for a while. Like I think most of his messages he's been spreading are, pretty decent. So that's good. But my opinion on the Jake Paul Cody Co situation was just in the video that Jake Paul made, there was like a segment, I don't know how long it was, where he reacted or he made his own reaction video to Cody Co, but it just didn't make any sense. Like the clips that his editor put in, his editor did put in, but like maybe Jake Paul chose, I don't know, just didn't make sense with his with Jake Paul's argument. And the part that really ticked me off was when he criticized Cody for being and I quote, a little back-end tech developer. Listen, Jake Paul. He graduated from Duke University with a computer science degree. And you dropped out of high school, and what are you doing? Like, okay, like I know that there are different paths that you can take to be successful, obviously, but don't like criticize someone for having, like doing something that's like good. Like he literally, the reason why, I think Noelle even said this like while they were talking about it, Jake Paul is on YouTube, right? That's his job. Cody Co used to be a tech developer, and he helps with things such as YouTube. So without people who are in Cody's past profession, Jake Paul would literally have nothing. Like,
Don't
yeah,
bite kind of thing.
huh?
Don't bite the hand that feeds you, kind of thing.
Yeah, but also just it was just like, yeah, that, and just Jake Paul just had you can't compare. Just don't. Oh my god. You know what? I'm gonna stop right now. Actually.
Irene's starting to get too heated about this topic.
Yeah, because it pisses me off. Just like, dude, you can't insult someone who, dare I say it, is way more successful than you in terms of just being a better person. Okay? Like it's like I said, it's fine if Jake Paul wanted to take a different path to being successful. That's fine, but just don't shit on other people who also went to college, got a degree, and is also now doing YouTube just because that's like what they want to do. Anyway.
Yeah, like because honestly, like other than dedication, it doesn't take much to be like a YouTuber. Like a lot of jobs, like being a doctor requires dedication, being like a scientist requires dedication, being a YouTuber, it's only dedication and luck. But like so people like Michael Reeves or people who do things that are like require higher education and they make a job, I have so much respect for them.
I mean, I think there's also like you can't just straight up say like it's dedication and luck. Like you also have to have an attractive personality. You also have to have like editing skills because like nobody goes into YouTube just hiring an editor. Like you have to start off somewhere. So like you have to have editing skills. You have to have like knowledge like that. But at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, it's really just based on luck and like actually wanting to be able to do it. But you have to be successful. You also have to like you have to have like luck in other areas too, like having an actual decent personality because nobody wants to watch someone just like, or at least very few people want to watch someone just like flavorless staring at a screen. However, some people did get famous that way, so
I don't know why.
that was also
the
the beginning of YouTube too.
One of the oldest YouTuber creators, PewDiePie. What are your thoughts on him?
Oh, I love PewDiePie.
I do too, but like he gets such a bad rap just because like he's so like he's kind of like Jay Schlatt. He's not nearly as bad as Jay Schlatt, but he's kind of like that in a way where he makes jokes about things that could be interpreted badly, and because he has such a wide audience and he has so many eyes on him, usually and people make it into big deals. Like he has slipped up in the past and done some pretty bad things. I will admit that.
But, yeah, but he's grown a lot as a person too, and that's I think the same way with like any content creator who's been on YouTube long enough. Like you slip up a lot of times, but you grow as a person, and I think a lot of people just want to pull things from like the back of like YouTube, like Jenna Marbles, for example. Rip her.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know what happened with Jenna Marbles, right?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, people found like a lot of like her old content from when she was like a much younger creator, and I think it was like something that was like racist or and like she didn't have like racist intentions, I don't think. I mean, honestly, I only watched like scarce clips, so because it was like a lot of drama, so I didn't watch the entire thing. But like I think she did do an apology video on it a while back, but people pulled it up and like it went through Twitter and she got canceled for it, and like she made a video and it was just so terrible. Like she was crying and like sobbing, and she apologized a lot, and I think she said that she was taking a break, but I think she quit YouTube because of it. Yeah,
like
and
there's some things that should be forgivable. Like if you're, in my mind, I'm a very forgiving person, as you all probably know. In my friend group, I don't mean on the internet, but like as long as someone's willing to change, for me, that is qualifies them for forgiveness in my mind. Like as long as they're willing, as long as they're not like doing it over and over again and not willing to change, then I think they deserve a second shot. You know?
I mean, yeah, they can say that like they want, and this isn't specific to Jenna Marbles, but like I know a lot of like let's say Shane Dawson, for example, like what he did, like obviously it was in the past, but that like even though I don't remember actually in his apology
That's
video.
because he swept it under the rug and never acknowledged it.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it's one thing to like make a joke in a video that wasn't focused around that joke, because like that was what happened with Jenna Marbles. So like it's one thing to make a joke in a video that didn't circle around that joke and then end up apologizing for it. With him, it was repeated actions. He never acknowledged it. And he did other terrible things on top of it, like that he just showed repeatedly that he was a terrible person, and you can't change from like the actions that he made. Like you can't like it's one thing to change as a person after like learning and growing and like from those mistakes and being pointed out and like showing actual remorse. He never did that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say though, I don't recall in his apology video from the past summer or something. I don't think he ever really said that he was trying to like get better or anything, if you know what I'm saying. Like that's the problem. And also, like Kate said, so you know, yeah, it's so hard for like even now if I were to go back and watch Shane Dawson's content, whatever is left, it's like weird because now that I know all this stuff, and it's so eerie to just I guess like see him on social media or anything. It just gives me a weird feeling.
Yeah, the thing I think happens with those kind of people is they get into drama a first time, and then they get like a bunch of views or a bunch of like support because of the scandal, and then they like that's like a positive reinforcement, so they keep getting into more and more drama because they know they'll get more viewers out of it, because they realize the more like disgusting they are as a human being, the more people will like be watched to see what's happening next. And I think that's not something that should be encouraged anymore, because it's like it just fosters horrible people.
Yeah. There was another topic we talked about last when we first tried recording this. I think Rachel, you brought it up about fetishizing Asians. This is because part of our presentation was also about BTS. So I don't, if anyone wants to speak on what they had.
I don't remember what I talked about. What did I say?
You brought up the flock side trend.
Oh yeah,
maybe that was
that's right. All right. Okay, so I'll just say what I said last time. I don't have a problem with the makeup itself. It's really, really pretty, and I think it looks great. But the thing is, these people who do this fox eye trend thing, they are able to take it off with a makeup wipe. People with these natural ethnic features don't have that choice. They can't just wipe it off. It's part of them. So I hate it when people try to invalidate when people say that it's offensive when people put their hands up to their face and make it look like they're pulling their eyes back, when people say that's offensive, and then people are like, oh no, it's just makeup, it looks good, that's all it is, and they're just invalidating it. It makes me so angry. Where was I going with this? I don't know. Help.
Maybe part of it is because Asians used to be made fun of for it. Like I know for a fact I was in elementary school. They were like, "Oh my god." First of all, like I said last time,
like
you guys know what I look like. I'm half white, so I don't have like super Asian features. My eyes they don't look Asian, if you know what I'm saying. So when I was in elementary school, for some reason, when someone found out that I was half Chinese, they would be like, "Oh my god, when you laugh, you can't see." And I'm like, bro, like you're 7, so I'm gonna blame your parents, but what? So, and then now, like, people are like, oh my god, slanted eyes are so attractive. And I'm just like, dude, you literally made fun of me for being half Asian and just, like, being, like, just having that culture with me. Like, hello? Are you okay?
To build
and then another thing. Oh, go ahead, Bobby.
I just, no, if you can wrap this up, and then I'll go on with my point.
Okay. So just one thing I wanted to add is the way people name these makeup looks after white women. Like, who is it? Bella Hadid eyes. Is that what they called it? Or
I don't remember.
like fuller lips. They call it like Kylie Jenner lips. They name
Oh,
these
yeah.
ethnic features after white women who just copied it with makeup. That annoys me a lot. But whatever.
So what I was to say is I can relate to a similar thing. It really bothers me when people use both like the R slur and when people call things autistic when they just mean annoying. Because like, how does that make me feel about who I am as an autistic individual when you call things like autistic screeching? Like, no, you call it pterodactyl screeching. You could call it like after an animal or something, but calling it an autistic screech is just like very offensive because one, it invalidates the people who get overwhelmed like that and have to do that in order to retain some semblance of control. And two, it doesn't represent all of people because autism is a full spectrum. Like I've never done that, but like I could sympathize with people who do that, and it's really annoying to see people do that. And I even at like our high school, I've seen people use the R slur to describe things that are just mildly inconvenient, or like somebody just forgetting something. They'll say "your R." And like that bothers me because that term used to mean like if you used to have that term, you'd be shut up in a mental hospital and not let out forever. And like it really invalidates the struggle people feel every day, you know?
Yeah, it's also like the whole thing with people on the internet kind of saying that their anxiety is like it like they don't I don't want to say that they don't have it. I'm not trying to invalidate that. I'm just saying like they say they're just basically, you know, using their anxiety as like just a quirky thing that I don't know how to explain it. I feel like you guys know what I'm talking about.
I like
you know what I mean?
You dislike it when people use anxiety to describe something like when they're feeling nervous compared to people like us who are like
actually
rethinking
suffer.
everything everybody ever says.
Yeah, I hate that because it's like yeah, because oh God, it's so awful to live with it. Just daily life, like when I'm going to bed, I'm like overthinking just everything.
Exactly.
I'm like yesterday, I was so upset with myself because I felt unproductive, but I relaxed. Like that's like also I feel like a lot of people might also feel that way, but like it's just something that I constantly feel. You know what I mean? And I know that you don't have to just be productive by doing schoolwork, but it's just I hate it
That's
so
something
much.
I'm going to talk about more on mine with mental health
Oh, yeah.
and stuff. Like how I kind of feel like schools bred us with anxiety. Like it's been given to us because of the environment we've been growing up with. You know?
Yeah, and we'll definitely
Yes,
get into
sir.
that in another episode. But
Also,
I
just out of canon, how much longer do we want to record to make sure that Craig catches it all?
I think we're fine. Do we have Shveta? If you can talk, are we? Do you have anything that we forgot to cover or just discuss? She might type something.
I feel like there's a lot of other things that we can cover, but like, you know, it's such a like this is like a rabbit hole, you know?
Yeah.
Can't talk
I mean,
mom vacuuming.
yeah. I think we covered enough. I know there were some things. Did we mention this? If not, I'll mention it just briefly. The whole thing with being part of a fandom can obviously there's positives and negatives to it.
I don't think we mentioned that this recording.
Did we not? Okay, well then, because I want to say
I can talk about it since I had a lot to say on it last time, but so I've like there's a difference between like kind of like obsessing and like being really interested in something and like hyperfixating on it, because like hyperfixation is a coping mechanism for a lot of people. Like it's a symptom of a lot of people who are like neurodivergent or depressed. Guess which one I am. And
I'm both.
and so like I've kind of hyperfixated on a lot of things because it's something that can change a lot. and since 5th grade, and it can take a lot out of a person because like right now I'm very into the Dream SMP and like Minecraft YouTubers in general. So every time someone streams, I feel like I should watch that. Like I feel like I'm missing out on something. So that can take hours out of someone's lifetime, especially when it's time. Oh, I manifested that. I just got a Twitch alert. Um and like it like when someone tweets, like I have tweet notifications on, like you invest a lot of time into something that can take out of your school day or like your work time, and as a consequence you tend to have grades drop, or like you have to work more to make up for like the lost time that you spend on something. And overall, like it just kind of snowballs anxiety, which is very, very difficult to live with. So, but like that you also have like communities where you have someone that like like that that you can talk with about something, which it is very nice when it comes down to like, oh, a lot of my friends don't share the same interest. I know that at least someone on Twitter or Tumblr once upon a time like will be there to talk about it with me too. So, it has some good sides and it has some bad sides, but I don't know if anyone else has something to add to, like, feel free to share.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
As someone who is neurodivergent, specifically, I'm on the autism spectrum and I have ADHD. My hyperfixations are extremely important to my functioning skills. Like if I have so many, I literally would probably take maybe 30 minutes to list all of them, but I feel like they're part of me. Like I feel like I give a bit of myself to every hyperfixation I have, and it helps me get through the day. Like because I can put my like I know this sounds stupid. When I was a kid, I was really into like Halo. Like when I was 12 or 13, I was really into Halo, and I still am. But I would always, when I was get shots, like medical shots, it would always help me to pretend that I was a Spartan getting my augmentations, or like it would help me in my daily life to know that like there was another world where I could escape to and pretend I was a part of. And it helped me feel like even though I'm different, it's because I'm part of all these worlds at once. I'm a more of like what's the word, a collage of all of them. Like a bit of me is from every one of these worlds that I love so much, and it really helps me get through like this world and how I don't get along like most people do. Yeah. On a side note, remember how I told you guys when I talk about things that I get passionate about, my chest starts to shake? That's happening right now.
Jitters.
Yeah, but I also just kind of going off with Bobby says, I think it's like good for me and bad because it, like Kate said, it does take a lot of time away from things that I should be doing, like schoolwork. But some things happen like ever since quarantine, to be honest. My mental health going downhill. So it was kind of hard for me to deal with it because it was getting really bad. So there are certain things that I turn to just to like make me laugh or just smile, or just it makes me feel like I'm like at least one thing is just at least like a constant in my life. Welcome to my therapy session now, I guess, but that's how I feel about it. So we can either start rapping or
I think we should start rapping.
All right, cool. Who wants to wrap everything up?
What are we rapping?
We are rapping music. No,
we're rapping a gift for Irene.
His name is Pilza, and he is cool.
Oh my god, Corpse, are you here right now? He's
Oh
in the
my
chat.
God.
Taylor, we're actually rapping a gift for Irene. It's the second day of Chinese New Year, and we have to get her a gift.
Oh my god, we're obligated to.
I
Irene,
feel
you have the gift of my presence.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Wow, Taylor. Thank
Oh
you
my
for
god, same brain.
I know, right?
Oh my god, Taylor, you should wrap up this entire thing right now.
Okay, so that was a fun conversation.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you all for listening to this podcast. It means a lot to us. It would also mean a lot to us if you could either hit the like, subscribe, or leave a comment, or all three would be preferable. We'll be back next week with another episode. Thank you.
And last but not least, if you're gonna take anything away from this podcast, don't stalk the people that you idolize.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
Also, it's the second day of Chinese New Year.
yeah,
that
they're
applies
not
to
your
us as well.
friends.
Don't stalk us.
they're not your family. You don't need their address. Okay?
Yeah, they're not your friends. They're not your family. Neither are we. Bye.
Bye.
Don't stalk us. Peace out.